to take. Communication has its own rules, communication has its own guidelines, and communication is in context. Meaning I can't take the same thing every single time and apply it to a different situation.
12 years of cold calling knowledge. Let's get into it.
A lot of people, when they engage with other individuals, right, whether in a sales or non-sales context, the number one thing that I've learned over the years that a lot of people unknowingly do consistently is this. If there's anything in your communication, your body language, right, subliminal, subconscious, conscious communication that indicates to somebody that you're judging them, you lost. Meaning, we need to figure out a way that even if the individual that we're talking to, we need to educate, even if they're wrong, right? Because I'm coming to you from a sales-specific context, but this is generally applicable and we'll break it down. But this is huge. I need to make sure that every movement that I do, every word that I say is calculated. And when I say calculated, I mean nothing can trigger anything in them that thinks they're being judged. Why? The moment somebody believes they're being judged, they automatically get put on the defensive. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to deal with you. You're causing negative emotions in them and nothing gets done. It doesn't move forward. Now, specifically for sales, why is this important? Well, if somebody doesn't want to talk to you and you, again, inspire a negative or cause a negative emotional state in them, again, they're going to push you away, associate that with you, and not want to talk to you. Why do you guys think that most political and religious arguments and discussions never end well? Because people feel obligated to have to defend their position because they understand in their mind, whether they're right or wrong, they believe they're being judged. So why is this important? Well, if you want to have great interactions with people, especially initial interactions with people, to get to the point where you can really get to know them, talk to them, qualify them, or whatever it is that you want, you need to be absolutely certain that you don't activate that within them. So what are some things that we do? Well, one of the biggest problems that we make as communicators, as cold callers, as prospectors, lead generators, is we say, hey, I have my method or my style and that's it. And that's wrong. The adjustment that you need to make is this. Yes, you need to have strategy, 100%. However, you don't come in and bulldoze people. You call, you start an interaction, and based on what they give you, you respond. Now, this is a lot more advanced than most people are used to. Because you're like, well, Bryan, I have my script. I'm supposed to say X, Y, Z. Yes, you are. And that's where you start. But as you become better and more well-versed and you become more skilled, you simply will respond to what is given to you. Why? Because based on what's given to you, you know where to go next. You know what next step to take. Communication has its own rules. Communication has its own guidelines. And communication is in context. Meaning I can't take the same thing every single time and apply it to a different situation and get the same result. It's very nuanced as you become more advanced. So with that said, depending on how they respond to me after I do my opening line or my introduction or whatever that is, I need to adjust accordingly. This requires a lot more versatile of a skill set. But let's go back to the first point about being non-judgmental. Well, think about me saying a statement like, hey, violence is bad, this is good. We have to understand the difference between a moralistic judgment versus a value judgment, right? We make judgments based on value, things that we value, things that we believe in. That's fine. But a moralistic judgment, right? That's going to trigger this in people. So when I say like violence is bad, sure, a lot of people will agree with me. Some people won't. And generally speaking, we're going to have people that fall on other ends of the spectrum. So if I wanted to say that and state that I don't believe in violence, I'm going to say it differently so I don't elicit that judgment mechanism in the individual. I could say something like, you know what? I believe there's other means of handling conflict. I believe there are better means of handling conflict. I believe that we could explore different ways of handling conflict versus just saying violence is bad, right? Because that second one, I'm basically still saying I don't agree with it. But I'm saying it in a way that isn't going to make that person feel challenged or judged for their belief. Why? Even if they haven't stated these beliefs. If we're constantly making statements, come on, dude. If we're constantly, the windowsill is right here, right? If we're constantly making statements that, again, could be perceived by people as us judging them, they're going to already put us in that portion of their mind and say, okay, because he said that, he doesn't agree with blank or X, Y, Z or A, B, C. Therefore, without you realizing it, it could rule you out. And this is why we need to be so surgical with the words that we use and the things that we say. because we don't realize that we are judging people. And as a salesperson, you're going to be dealing with, selling to, talking to, and having conversations with a bunch of people who maybe don't agree with you on a lot of things. I've done business with people over the years who, outside of a business transaction, I would never associate with them, be friends, or anything else. But they had a need and a desire to resolve something, right? In this case, let's say it was real estate. They wanted to buy or sell, and I knew I was the expert to help them. I could put that stuff to the side. I can navigate the conversation properly and correctly, right? Not make them feel judged. Even if they know that I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum on beliefs, that's fine. They can even know that. But if they, again, get the sense and understanding that the individual is not judging them or holding them in a different light because of that, they will do business with you. And this is why we can interact with people, associate with, when we need to, people who maybe don't agree with us. That's a mistake that a lot of people are making in the world today, is this belief and this delusion that everyone's going to align with you and everyone's going to believe what you believe. That's just not the case. I mean, even look at what happened with the presidential election. Sure, we can say, well, you know, Trump or whoever won by 60, 70%. Right, but there's still 30 or 40% of people who don't agree with it. So if you automatically are totally the opposite and you just say, hey, this and that, again, even if you believe in it, because I have my beliefs too and people know them. But when I'm dealing with people on a business level or in a particular context, I'm not going to shove that down their throat. Right? If they're going to come to me or at least even feel comfortable enough to approach me about, hey, I want to do this, I want to train with you, right? Like, let's talk about that. I have a lot of people in my coaching who don't agree with me, who don't align with me from a religious standpoint or a political standpoint, but they put that aside, they understand where I'm coming from, and our dialogues and interactions are conducive to me teaching and them learning. It's not so diluted and messed up that, oh man, and this and that, and I could never work with this person because blah, blah, blah. That's fine. On a personal level, we may not hang out, we may not be friends, but there's an exchange there of goods and services, which I'm totally cool with. But you have to have a level of emotional and mental maturity as a human being and a more robust skill set as a communicator to be able to deal with that. And many of you are ruling out people because of personality types or beliefs in sales, and you don't even realize it. And a lot of it isn't you directly rejecting them, it's your behavior and the way that you speak to people. Those of you who are in real estate who are watching this video, how many times have you guys talked to maybe an expired or a for sale by owner or somebody like that, and they tell you that agents are insulting them, or like, man, you know, they're telling me I'm wrong and this and that. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's a judgment. Hey, you're doing this wrong. Hey, you're crazy. Hey, this, hey, that. Just like violence is bad, right? So instead of having a proper dialogue, they're saying statements and things and using words that make the person feel judged or attacked, putting them on the defensive, right? You'll learn this in hypnosis. It's called activating the critical factor in somebody's mind. When you activate the critical factor in somebody's mind, they are blocked off to influence and persuasion. Why? They are obligated to defend their position, whatever it is, as unreasonable it is, as illogical as it may be, they're obligated to defend it. And when you put them in that position, you cannot influence them, you cannot persuade them, you cannot do anything. So, you know, it's interesting because I didn't learn this until later on, and this is a subject that I know even people watching this video, for most people, just because of the position that they're in, it'll more than likely go over their head. But we don't realize the importance of this, the relevancy of this. So you really need to ask yourself and take a look at your presentations and your dialogues. Are you making statements, especially up front or early on in your interactions, that are causing people to feel judged or criticized? Because a lot of it falls into the category of judgment. Things such as insulting somebody, putting somebody down, right? Comparing them, trying to give them a diagnosis at times. Those are all things that would fall under the category of being judged. It could be your tone that you use. It could be the way that you ask the question. So this is, again, a lot more nuanced than people think. It's not just one thing or the other. There's like 8 or 9 total. I did a lecture on this last night for my coaching group, and we went over like 10 or 15 of things that you can say or do and behaviors that cause people to feel judged. Then we did the breakdown of the 4 steps. So for you, you need to say, okay, am I eliciting a particular response from somebody that's not favorable to the interaction moving forward? Because once you hit more of a rapport, right? All right, we're back. Sorry about that, right? I live by a main road and, there's a lot of grass and foliage there. So the dude comes by, I think like once a week, and I just happened to be recording when he came by. So I had to close the windows real quick. Anyways, right? So this is big. We've been talking like 10 minutes about this. Again, this is a more of an advanced skill, right? If you're still brand new, I wouldn't worry about this. I would stash this under the category of something that you need to learn and train later on. You may not be ready right now for it. That's okay. But it's definitely something that's really going to elevate you as a communicator, because the top communicators on the planet, whether in sales or in other contexts, know how to ask questions and explore subjects where there's a lot of friction or the potential could come up for friction, and you can navigate that and allow people, because this is what it's about. People want to feel understood and recognized. That's really what this is about. So if you're talking and dealing with people who are frustrated, upset, or whatever it is, they just want to know that they're being heard and feel understood. And the moment you hit that threshold, they will open up to you, they will be nice to you. But until then, they may attack you, they may say things that aren't nice, but that's okay, right? That's okay, because you need to understand it. This is piece number 2 to this. Understand it from their perspective, dude. Those of you who are in real estate like me, we do deal with people who are frustrated, irate, right? Any salesperson is going to deal with people who are at varying levels of emotion. If you work at customer service and people who call your line are always upset, then but you have to understand and empathize with these people. If you were in their position, you would more than likely be upset too. It's okay. But you got to be able to see that and recognize it. That way, when you empathize, guess what? You don't take it personal as a communicator. And when you don't take it personal, it's easier for you to navigate the conversation and for them to feel connected. If you take it personal, you start getting defensive and reactive, and now it's not pleasant. When in reality, this person's not necessarily mad at you. They're upset about their situation and they're just venting emotionally. This is why you need to be able to take a step out and objectively view this thing, not take it personal, not turn it into a subjective experience, and be able to navigate that, right? You can learn to do that. These 2 tips on this video, you will be far more advanced than 99% of the people out there communicating and dealing with people. Why? Because they don't understand these things. And at the end of the day, this is what matters. When you're looking for a unique value proposition, when you're looking for people who will stay on the phone with you longer, when you're looking at an individual who's interviewing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people for a job, these are the types of things that separate you. Because at the end of the day, this is how I'll tie a bow on it. A lot of people are going to choose you and select you and hire you just because they liked you more. You think it's going to be what's on paper. It's not. Oftentimes, it's these things that will separate you from someone else, and they will make the choice. ¿Cómo está, viejo? They'll make the choice based on they liked you more. They felt like they could trust you more. They felt more confident in you. Not what's on paper, not the experience, not the track record. It's that connection that you had with them. And the quicker that people figure this out, the more stock and effort and money and training they're going to put into communication, because then they'll realize, hey, this is much more important than what's on paper. What's on paper is great. And I'm not saying that's not significant, because it is. However, this is the most important thing, okay? So I'll wrap it up here, guys. I have a bunch of free things in the description for you. Make sure that you check them out and take advantage of them. I have like free scripts, dialogues, negotiation guides, all that stuff. Those of you who need more help, go to my website, schedule a call with me. Some of you have commented recently, oh man, I want coaching and training. It's on my website. You can set up a call and check it out there. We disclose everything and we're transparent about everything that we do, all right? Be sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe. We'll see you on the next video. Peace.